Hey guys, it's Terry from Waving My Wand, and today I am featuring some products from scrapbook.com, and I'm going to be using the brand new Fall Sampler Sentiment stamp set. And I'll be using the Bountiful Blessings sentiment on my project. I'm also featuring the dome foam shaped applicator tips and blender brush, and these are brand new as well. And being dome shaped, I've discovered that there's no harsh lines. You really want to get some good saturated ink on there for your blending, for your smoothest and best effect and most brilliant colors. And I love how these are blending. This is the first time I've used them, and I can't say enough good things about them. They do come in a 2-pack with some refills, but you can also get the extra pack of refills if you're like me and you have a ton of inks that you use. So I'm also featuring the hybrid inks today, the fall collection of hybrid inks, and this features Autumn Leaves and Orange Cream and Leather. And hybrid inks, if you're not familiar with those, when you stamp your images, you can use watercolors with them, or you can use alcohol markers such as Copics, and it works for either one. And so I love hybrid inks. That's almost the only thing I use anymore to stamp. You don't have to worry about your inks bleeding. That's not a problem at all. So what I'm going to do today is an ink blended project with my hybrid inks and my new dome foam shaped blending tool. And I'm also going to bling it out a little bit, but to start I've already trimmed a card, a blank card, and a card panel that I'm going to put on top, as well as this cardstock border that we'll be stamping the sentiment on and popping it up with foam circles that also are brand new from scrapbook.com. You can get all of these products, foam circles, tiny little squares. I've got a bunch of stuff, so I'll be using some of that as well. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with masking using some painter's tape on my panel. And if you can hear everything falling, it is falling. And here's my card piece that I've already trimmed from an 8.5 by 11 inch piece of Neenah cardstock, Solar White. And I'll have the dimensions for you later in the video, or I'll have it typed in on the screen. And I have a coordinating heavyweight Neenah cardstock panel that I'll be blending my ink on. And I also have, like I said, the border piece. So let's get started, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to speed up the process for the masking of the tape and the ink blending, and you can just follow along. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and heat set this with my craft heat tool for just a second. Alright, and because I want to pop up my sentiment, I'm going to be using my MISTI stamp positioner today. Well, not because I'm popping up my sentiment, but you'll see why. Let's see, where did I put it? Hang on. Okay, so for my sentiment, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to blend my inks together, and I want to do that multiple times to get a good crisp inking. Can you see that? So I'm going to be using my MISTI stamp positioner because it will allow me to stamp as many times as I want and keep my stamp in the same place. Now for this card, I went ahead and offset my sentiment to the side. I tied some burlap string around my cardstock. I added some gemstones from Nuvo. I added some little Nuvo confetti and some dream drops and blinged it out a little bit. But for this card, I'm just going to go ahead and put my sentiment directly in the middle, just to simplify things today, but you can do it however you want to do it. And also, you can add as many stripes as you want to your card. You can see that they're pretty close, but I went ahead and brought this one down a little bit. You know, really, if we wanted to, we could just put our sentiment on this card and make it more like a one-layer card. We could do that, and I'm seriously thinking about that. What do you think? Let's grab our stamp right here, and I often change my mind as I'm working. And let's see how that would look. That would look nice. So shall we? I think we shall. Let's do it. Let's just go ahead and stamp directly onto this panel and forget about the card strip today. Sorry, I think my lights are acting a little wonky. So let's place this right in the center. Put down our magnets, and I usually keep a little washi tape on my magnets just to help pick it up. It makes it easier to pick up. So that looks pretty centered to me. Alright. And when you're using clear stamps like this, you want to be sure and pop in the foam pad that comes with your stamp positioner to help elevate your, so that you can stamp. You need to elevate it a little bit. So that's what the foam pad is for. If you use rubber stamps that are thicker, you don't need the foam pad. So what I'm going to do is start with the leather color, and I'm going to ink it on the very edge here. And some people will take their markers and directly color onto their inking. And I also want to do a little bit of the leaf. Anyway, they will directly color onto their stamps, and you can do that. But for this project, I just wanted to go ahead and ink directly onto my my sentiment and do it in graduated colors. So I'm starting with the darkest and working towards the lightest. I'm also going to add a little bit more color onto that leaf. And we're going to do this a couple times just so that it shows up really nicely. And that looks good, but it could be better. So we're going to do it again. All right, we'll do the leather. Yes, leather first. And then the autumn leaves. And finally, the orange cream. And you can get this as a set at scrapbook.com. And I highly recommend that you do. These colors are gorgeous. They're so bold, you know. I'm seeing a lot of really bold colored cards lately, and I love the colors. Let's get down there a little bit more. I think I see one little spot that I want to darken just a little bit, and it looks to be around the letter N. There we go. See how quickly you can do this? Super fast. All right, there we go. I am now happy. That is so pretty. Don't you love it? And I'll probably take some something and put off to the side here. But right now I want to go ahead and heat set this because we're going to do some paint splatters. So let's go ahead and heat set. Okay, what I'm going to do now is grab some paint, and I've got some Americana multi-surface satin white paint. You can get this at various craft stores. I'm just going to put a tiny bit on my craft mat. I'm using the Waffle Flower Water Media Mat. I love it. And, sorry. Okay, couldn't find my paintbrush. So what I'm going to do is just use the end of my paintbrush. And I'm just going to barely dip this in. And if I need to tap a little bit off onto the craft mat, I can. And you should be able to get multiple dots from your paint, just from one dipping. And you know, because I did ink with the leather color and it's much darker, even though it's a fall color, it's much darker than the oranges, and it's in another color family actually, I think. Maybe not. Okay, but anyway, so if you want to cover up some harsh lines, if you think you see some, this is a neat little way to do that and draw the focus away from any harsh lines that you might have. Although I think that our lines have blended pretty darn well today. So I'm just going to dot these all over in various sizes. And you can call it whatever you want. Oncoming of snow. I know that some of my crafty friends already have snow. Some of my family have snow that live in Colorado. I'm from New York originally. I've been in the South for a long time, but I do have a lot of family that still live in New York. And so they always see good snowy cold weather, and we don't ever get any here in the Deep South, disappointingly so. So just randomly place your dots. If you think you need larger dots, go ahead and pop one in there. There you go. It just adds a little bit of interest to your card. I like to do splatters. This is one way of doing them and placing them more accurately where you want them. And I think that that's going to do it for now. So I'm going to have to let that dry before I can adhere it to my card panel. But this is basically, this is it. I will just take some an adhesive runner and adhere this to my card panel, which is right here. And I'll do that after the paint dries. I probably could have gone ahead and adhered it and then added the paint, but I didn't, so. But here are our 2 cards that we've made using the Fall Sampler stamp set. And I hope you will run out and pick it up because it's amazing. And I love it. And I love these inks, these hybrid inks. And I'll have affiliate links in my video description if you want to do some shopping. It'll take you directly to the links at scrapbook.com. If you shop through my affiliate links, I am compensated, and I appreciate your help. That helps to fund some of my giveaways. And thank you so much. Be sure you're following me on social media at Waving My Wand. Thanks so much for popping in today. See you later.